grease.
Dude, it's different when you sweat food. Like around food, it's very different when you sweat around food. It's a different smell.
That's one job I've never had, and I don't think I ever will do. I don't want to ever do it.
Bro, it hurts, dude. But it is fun in terms of like who you meet and all that good stuff. So, yeah. Got good people there. Fun stuff. They're going to be a shout out too. I moved to Denver in a couple weeks.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so this is the third time on the podcast. And like this, it's been about threes this year. Like I'm 33. Threes have just been following me this year.
Oh, my gosh.
So this is a called for.
This is the third time?
Yeah.
I was wondering how many we did.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, so you got a lot to talk about, man.
Yeah,
What's going on?
Yeah. Are we on?
Yeah,
is this
good.
happening?
We're ready to go.
Sweet, dude. Man, okay, so 3 things that we're going to talk about. One, dude, if I'm leaving Lubbock, I got to give everybody a shout out.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe we should start off with all the cool things about Lubbock that I would
do
want
it.
to shout out. All right, dope. Okay.
You got notes on this? Hell
Yeah, at least for this part. The rest is going to be all off the top of the dome.
Okay.
So things to do in Lubbock for sure. First things to shout out. I mean, we got to shout out Snake Pit. I mean, without this, come on. Most consistent running podcast in town.
Let's
Easy.
go.
Yeah. Mayors come on. What you talking about? Everybody comes on here.
Everybody, man.
Yeah. So
Hell yeah.
long live Snake Pit forever. Lords of Film. Wish they were here to promote that too, but just so cool, like being able to put on like a flick by people that actually love movies.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Super dope. 806 Collective. I know you're a big part of that.
Shout out to them boys.
Oh
Hell
my
yeah.
God, dude, so cool. Dope collection of artists that actually just care about town. I mean, fashion too, right? I mean, they do it all. They straight up do it all.
Do it all. They're doing great things. Check them out.
806 Collective for sure. Live music scene, the Lubbock live music scene. I mean, I know I'm going to forget somebody on this list. I know it. So God, I'm so sorry.
You gonna name off bands?
Yeah, I'm going to name off a couple bands. So these are some of my favorites. I got some good ones. Indigo. God, I've been following them since 2017, even before Ian was in the band. I actually was working with Ian at a pizza place called West Crest, and like I had already found Indigo, and like a year later I'm at a show at the Garden and Ian's playing guitar.
Nice.
And I'm just like, no way, what's happened to you? You just joined my favorite band.
Yeah, they roll.
Yeah, dude, so good. Like math rock, progressive rock. I've turned so many people on to Indigo, so I'm gonna continue doing that. Ronnie and the Redwoods.
Shout out to them.
God, I've been traveling, touring, and I just know big things in front of Ronnie. Dayton and Good Company is a little bit newer of a folk band here. They do really cool. They do really good stuff. Fun songs. Words and Philosophies is probably my favorite song from them. The Johnny Verbetten Trio, jazz all the way. He also works for the Lubbock Cultural Arts, and Lubbock Cultural Arts Department will be holding a festival, little day festival here in town on September 6th, I believe. And I'll be running some yoga there too.
Oh, okay.
So
Hell yeah.
that'll be fun. They'll bring me back from Denver.
You'll be back.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Joy Harris. Everyone's got to love Joy. Plays bass all over town. Russell Joe Thompson. Music Kodak, one of my favorites. Also, this is not any particular order. Marco's Crew. Ray Fairley, Mouse Shadow, head by Colt Compton. Dude, that guy loves music, knows music, so good. Plays sax, plays piano, brings together some of the best musicians here in town. Ghost Lux, big old things, man. They got the look, they got the vibe, they got the sound. I'm glad they're starting to tour around too. Shakedown Cruise, head by Justin Garcia. He works over at School of Rock. Dope dudes.
I think I know that guy.
Yeah. He also runs a couple karaoke's here in town.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
And follow him for karaoke as well. So Shakedown Cruise.
Soggy Dog, I believe.
Yeah. And might as well, shout out Young Crybaby as well, always doing her thing. Jeremy Couture runs Lubbock Live as well.
This month, huh?
Yeah, August 23rd. So super big there. Sam Choate always helps people here in town, especially fellow musicians. Jojo DeSalvo doing huge things now. just tend to be the most fair. I know, dude. I'm going hard.
Hey, no, these are names some of them I ain't even heard of, so I like it.
Yeah. Jojo DeSalvo just started. Oh man, he just put down some songs recently, and in one of his songs, I can't believe I'm blanking on it. It definitely has like a Johnny Cash vibe. Just broke over 1 million downloads.
Oh, shit. Hell yeah.
He'll also be at Lubbock Live. Big A is a DJ here in town. Him and that group kind of run, Kongs and Culture. And ever since they came into town, man, the electric scene has been so dope. Like, they've been bringing artists that within a year started, like, not headlining, but being a part of some of the biggest EDM festivals here.
Really?
So, like,
nice.
they are doing huge scenes in the EDM scene.
I was at Kong's not too long ago, and good music.
Yeah, you'll have to look for the Big A.
Okay.
Yeah, that dude's the man. Flux and Flow, since we're on the EDM scene. CJ to DJ is out of Midland. After Party goes so hard too. Let's see, Scabaret, Clement Hall, Renegades of Folk, Gypsy Jane, Jerry Serrano outside of Blue Light. Got to go to Blue Light if you ever go. One of the most legendary spaces here in town.
Yes, it is.
Runs the legendary singer-songwriter Monday competitions. That's just so cool over at the Blue Light. Okay, I think that's gonna conclude the music scene.
The music.
Yeah. Oh my God, Jordan. We both know Jordan. Give me his rapper name. Oh my God, I'm snap. He plays ball too. Damn, Jordan, I love you. I'm gonna look it up here in a bit.
So sorry, buddy. I know who you're talking about.
Oh no, I got you.
He hasn't dropped music in a while.
Yeah. He hasn't dropped music, but dude's so fucking cool with it.
It's at the tip of my tongue. Sorry, buddy.
I know. I'm gonna get it back. Okay. Scott Ferris out of Amusement Park Studios helped out. Oh my God.
Double O Mac.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Oh my God. Double O Mac for sure. Shout out, Jordan. So yeah, Scott Ferris Amusement Park Studios. I mean, just got like a gold album, or was it platinum? Something up there for Flatland Cavalry.
Oh, nice.
So Scott.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so Scott Harris is behind that. Super cool. HG Productions. That's led by Harvey Garza, who's the drummer of Indigo. Always helping out people here in town. J&B's Coffee. Gotta love it. Brewed Awakening. Luca and First Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta shout out my yoga spaces. Tribute Power Yoga. Olive Grove Fitness. Super cool. Gotta go check them out. One guy's on 50th because God, they've been housing me forever.
That's a legendary spot,
dude. Legendary spot.
Yeah.
And then owner Gabe Vitella, always being a part of the town. I see him trying to run for mayor one day, man. That guy's been doing big things. I know he's already part of the city council.
Hell yeah.
So he's super cool. Good Earth Recycling, the only Lubbock premier pickup recycling company here in town.
I see them driving around.
Yeah, head by Nick and Rachel, super cool. Aerial Atmosphere, just like super empowering women to do silks and little levitating poles and dancing, and their community is just so strong, so cool. Anytime you see a show from them, God, you better be ready to cry, because the display of music and strength and possibility is just so cool. Taste Buds, best food truck in town. I don't care. I'll say it. I'll straight up say it. Yeah. Simone, I'll say it every single time.
Shout out to you, Simone.
Every time. Two Docs, always got to shout out Taylor Swift, and what he does for the community. Taylor Swift is his name. God, you can only imagine what that man has to go through.
Dude, I was hoping, because when he was on the pod, that name would like boost the numbers.
No,
like
it didn't.
Swift. It's been like 3 years, so it's
man.
fucking. I haven't even looked at it.
That's funny. Yeah, that name for sure. Shotgun Suze, Mano Negra just opened his new spot.
Yeah.
Looking pretty cool. I just love to see the support that they have already here in town.
Speaking of 806 Collective, Dave took me to Shotgun Suze for the first time. I really like that place.
Dude, and it's such your vibe.
It is a vibe. I didn't know.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Dude, you could I feel like with your fashion and everything, you could take pictures in that space and you look at home.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
They just don't have draft beer. That's the only problem.
Yeah, and they're like high-end cocktail spot.
Yeah.
And,
Not for me.
Flipper's Tavern.
Oh.
God, dude. I mean, legendary. Anytime you tell them, yep, pinball tables,
chili dogs.
Open to the nerd community. They just do really cool stuff. Everybody that works there is super cool.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah.
I love being there.
And then last one is going to be Rock, Paper, Shears, which is a salon here in town. They also display art.
There's a girl who works there. I'm trying to get her on the pod.
Amber? Or
She's an older lady. Sorry.
I'll have to...
Jeffries? Something Jeffries. This is why I don't do shout-outs, because I'm always
I know. It's hard. That's why when I was listing this, I was like, I know I'm going to forget something. But yeah, okay. That was a huge list. What? Coffee, karaoke, music, podcast.
When you put it like that, there's a lot to do here.
Dude, there's so much to do here.
And that's like, there's probably more.
Oh, so much more. That's just me.
You could
and I'm having to like make choices between these.
I want to shout out Ralph's Records as well.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Yeah, like legend. Anytime my dad comes into town,
that's a good spot.
We're stopping at Ralph's Records. Yeah, man, my dad's CD collection has grown so big. Man, it's wild. Yeah, but shout out to him because my dad was what put me onto music, and he's more of like a '80s classic rock, hair metal type of guy. He's been rocking a mullet for over 40, 50 years.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I love it.
When that mullet goes, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Live long. Cool. Okay. So 2 weeks and then I'll be in Denver.
Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
What's making you move over there, man?
Man, it feels like such a calling. I'd been saying it since like November of last year. And then, things occurred this year, kind of like in March. And some things just were just like, you just got to come here. And it was in March when I went to visit that I also did my first open mic with the poetry over at a spot called the Corner Beat. And that's where I really realized, the last time I was on this podcast, I had a show coming up and I was putting out that poem, What is Unconditional Love? Mm-hmm. And it just showed me how much I miss performing and how much like my poetry is meant to be performed.
Hell yeah.
And that's going to be one of the topics as well. I don't really know where to start when it comes down to either the poetry space or the YouTube channel with the yoga thing that started.
Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But when I think of I've been there a few times, Denver, and for some reason I think that's your spot.
Dude, so many people have been saying that.
It's just kind of in my eyes, like a hippie, just chilling, yoga, nature.
That's the thing too, that like a lot of my hobbies there is like more prolific in that space. Yeah. Even like the wedding officiant stuff, because it's like, no knocking anybody here who wants to like grab a priest, have that like more religious backing.
It's more of a Christian type of deal.
Totally. And it's completely understandable, but I feel like I could plant more seeds in the wedding officiant space over in Denver.
Nice.
So it'll be doing that. Yeah, it's weird because, I'm not too much of like a woo-woo person, spiritual person. I consider myself to be very spiritual, but I like try to lead with my logic, like analytical side. And when I think about that, what makes me feel like I am not ready to go to Denver. Because like if I think about my financial situation, like it's probably not the best. And when I talk to people about that, they get nervous for me. But truly, when I'm not thinking about that, or even when I am, there's this really, really strong feeling of like I'm carried right now. Like I'm on this path, and it feels like every step I've been on this path, I've been given some sign that says like, I'm good. I'm good. So
hell yeah.
I don't think I've ever had like a bigger amount of like faith that things were going to work out.
Fuck yeah.
It's a really dope feeling.
those are, you gotta consider things and money and all that, but sometimes you just gotta say fuck it.
Totally.
Just say fuck it.
And I come up with a million reasons every single time,
Yeah.
And I could be content here. That was what's so funny, for a good portion of my life, I could tell that I've always had this like pressure like lurking behind me that was like, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, you're not doing enough, it's always falling short. And for a while, like to 2024, I was just like battling that. And for like 3 or 4 months, I was like, someone would ask me, what do I have any like future plans or anything? And for once I could say like, I don't. And it wasn't followed up with like a feeling inside that was like, I'm embarrassed to say that. I was like, no, I said I don't. And I was like, and I'm good. And I felt really good. And it only lasted 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And that was like, damn, I wish I was a little bit longer. But then I felt this calling and was like, you do this now or you don't do it. You know, I could be here, I could stay here content, or I could just like challenge myself and go all in. So I'm going all in, and that's what led to, I told myself I wasn't going to leave Lubbock without doing like 2 things that I've always said that I was going to do. One was write a book, and the other one was start that YouTube channel. And I have like all these other ideas as well, but I was like, I need to gift myself these 2 things to show myself that like I can do hard things, I could be committed, and I don't have to just stay in my head about these ideas that I have. You know, and I know you have a feeling about that too, because I mean, you're starting to step into like little short story, like video spaces, right? Like short clip.
Boy, did that one. Yeah. You know, you learn.
yeah. And it's going to be that way, you know?
I was about to tell you that, like, being content, I'm like, oh, I think that's where I'm starting to, like, oh, shit, I could just do this, be cool, but no, I need to do more.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll leave Lubbock for a while, but I'm with you. Being content, that's dangerous, man. Ooh,
No.
That's a dangerous thing.
But it also would be nice to just feel it, but like truly feel it for a little bit, you know? And I just, because there's a good side to contentment. There's a bad side of contentment, right? Where you just like sit there, you don't challenge yourself and you're blah, blah, blah. And I think that's an all right space to be, you know? But I think when you have that calling for more, even that could be a little dangerous, because it's like, oh, nothing's good enough for you. It could be that space. So there's like a little bit of a mixture of like, I am content. I'm acknowledging that I can't be content, but I do want more. Not so much more that I'm putting this like extra pressure, but more in the sense that like I'm deserving and I'm ready, you know?
Yeah, I wondered that, like, will I ever be content? Will it be like 90? Like, I'm going to do more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good one too. Like some of the biggest people we know just always want more, you know?
And there's always a trade-off.
Yeah.
So your move to Denver was more, it was calling you more than I need to get out of Lubbock.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm always going to love Lubbock. Like
Yeah.
anytime I tell people like, oh yeah, you're going to Denver, it's like, oh, you're going to a way better place. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, there's going to be some fun stuff. There's some dope options, new communities to be a part of. I mean, look at the list that I created here. Imagine the list I'm going to create when I go up there, you know? But yeah, no, I've done so much, like, I feel like there's so much goodness here. There's such a space to like grow here in Lubbock. And it's like in this mediary space of like, there's obvious growth coming, who are going to be the pillars that are part of that growth. The hard part about being a pillar of that growth here in Lubbock is that you got to be real patient, and you got to have like a vision. You got to stay clear to that vision. Yeah, like a space that reminds me of is like a Johnny Velvet, and they do the Lubbock Listening Room, which I'm so glad I thought of that, because I want to shout them out too.
That's right down on 34th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like in that space, it's so dope. They're bringing cooks and bartenders, and they're like featuring local artists, and it's just such a dope vibe in there. And again, like, you know, they're selling, like, their tickets are a little bit pricey, but it's coming from like, they have a print that's specific to that artist, that's going to be unique to that Lubbock Listening Room situation. You get food, you get drinks, like you get a T-shirt that you get,
right.
like you get a good amount for that, like $50, $60.
That's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like people in Lubbock just don't take the chance for like new events like that.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. What I was gonna say was, and I'm not throwing shade, but you guys need to advertise better.
Dude.
I feel like nobody, unless you were part of that, nobody really knows. I only know about it because I've seen the fucking place when I'm driving, and then I think you reposted it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I knew about it. I'm like, oh,
Seriously, no.
what's going on?
And and I feel like that's such a thing for everybody here in Lubbock. We're like,
Literally.
there's a cool thing about it in the sense of like just not wanting to be too attached to the internet, and like, and I get like, it's an excuse too, but it's like to get what you want, to get the people that you need, you just have to promote.
It is crazy because all the people you shouted out, it is like just pockets of what I'm calling as culture, man. Just these different pockets.
For sure. And it's like, and if they do promote, it's like only within like themselves. Like they have to be lucky enough that there was someone in their immediate circle that knows like graphic design, that knows how to promote, and then that person commits to it. But nobody's getting paid to get that extra promotion. Everyone's got to do it on their own, and most of these people just rather not.
Yeah, I feel you. Also, I wanted to shout out Izzy Money Vintage.
Oh yeah,
I had to throw that one out there.
Yeah, they're so cool too. The clothing part. I mean, when I think about like people that inspire me in like the streetwear space, say like Yash and like Dio Lujan, like those guys are so inspiring when it comes down to the fashion scene here in town. And I'm glad to be taking my fashion up to Denver too. So that's going to be fun.
Is the fashion similar?
Man, I would say everyone has such a unique style. Yeah. But I always feel good because like mine gets recognized so often, and it's such a collection of so many things, like whether it's garage sale thrifting, or like estate sales here, which honestly the Lubbock thrift scene is better than like the Denver scene. 'Cause in Denver they're like, oh, we have these unique clothing, we're gonna like, even though it's coming out of a garage sale, like we're gonna give you a vintage price on it.
Damn.
You know, like $25-$30, right? I come over here, I find this shirt at a garage sale for $1, right? And I'm like, you kidding me? So
give and take.
Yeah, so it's like maybe I'll visit Lubbock just to have like some more estate sale vintage finds too, because
well, yeah, not to get morbid, but all the old people are dying.
Yeah, that's what it feels like with the estate sales here in town.
That's what's happening.
Yeah,
that's why all the good clothes is coming out.
Dude, oh my god! Like even these, like this pin, I went to an estate sale and I found like these 5 or 6 jackets that all had some individual pin on them, and I was like, I don't want the jackets, I just want the pins. So I got like 6-7 pins for like $2. Yeah, and now I just throw this crown one whenever I'm like, whatever I feel like putting it on. So
fuck yeah.
Yeah, king baby.
I wish I had time to go to those.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, they'll run them for 3 days.
Well, you know, like the first day.
Yeah,
everybody's there.
Yeah, so but if you land it good on a Saturday, everything's 50% off on the last day. That's usually how they run it, to try to get rid of their last minute things.
Oh yeah, they do that every day.
Yeah, they'll like mark a little bit off.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, dude. So those were the two things, like those two things, which was the book and the YouTube channel that I told myself I was going to commit to. And I was talking about the YouTube channel a little bit last time.
Yeah, you were.
And that was like towards the end. So maybe we start off a little bit with that.
Yeah, man. It's a yoga one, right?
Yeah. I go under the moniker, the Disko Wizard Yogi, which is awesome.
I think you announced the name on the podcast, actually.
Yeah. You bleeped it out a little bit so nobody would like...
Yeah, steal it.
That's
right.
And now I got it. Now it's mine.
So yeah, now you can say it.
Yeah. So Disko Wizard Yogi YouTube channel. Super cool, man. The time that I've committed to this sucker. Like I was actually having a day like 3 days ago or so where I was just hyping myself, where I was like, man, what I'm doing for people right now for free. And like and when you see my movement and when you see me speak on like the yoga sense, like I just got to appreciate myself a bit while recording myself, because like that expression, that movement, that breathing took years, and you could see it. Like
nice.
It's super intentional. The way I speak about it, I know what body part I'm asking you to move, and I know why I'm telling you to do it. So the idea was that I was going to make it a beginner to intermediate centric space. And I thought to myself, okay, like how do I focus on beginner and intermediate people? And I go, okay, what if I start doing breakdown videos on the poses that I deem to be beginner to intermediate? Okay. So I'm never going upside down or like trying to bust a handstand or something. These are poses that I think are well within people's ability. Maybe not right off the bat, depending on like how long it's been since you've, willingly got on the floor and then got back up, because some people lose that if you don't do that.
Yep, you gotta be careful.
And so I was like, okay, let me create this list of poses that I think are beginner and intermediate, and then I'm going to create a breakdown video on each one of those poses, with the goal being under 5 minutes. So I created a bank of poses that I have about a little over 35 videos on that go over about 40 poses. And so then I was like, okay, now what if I create sequences or flows that put those poses into practice? And in the description box, I will put the poses that are within the sequence. That way, you know ahead of time what's coming. And if there's a pose that you're unfamiliar with, go check out my breakdown video on it and come right back.
Hell yeah.
So I know nobody's doing that in the game. And I know...
That's true, because I do some beginner yoga and just like do the stretch. I'm like, what the fuck?
Exactly. Yeah. and like now your mind's split between like, what's the name of it? Am I doing it right? Like blah, blah, blah.
Ah, damn, that is... Okay, hell yeah.
Right? And so now it's like, oh, okay, like what... Maybe I've always heard about downward facing dog, but I've never heard it broken down before. Bam, go check out my breakdown video. A little less than 4 minutes on it,
Hell yeah.
And so now I have the description box that has a breakdown, or that tells you all the poses that are within the sequence or the flow. And now you have the idea of like, oh, I've done this pose before, and that was in this other flow. I recognize the pose, but now that I'm doing it more times, maybe I should go check out that breakdown video on it. So then I was like, okay, so July 1st, June 23rd, I soft opened the YouTube channel, just kind of putting out the video, what it's going to be. July 1st, I released the first set of content, which was over those 35 videos of the breakdowns and 8 sequences, which I have so much fun naming. Like, there's 5 categories in which yoga poses can get into, and that's extensions, laterals, inversions, twists, and folds. And so I wanted to make like a lateral class, right? And laterals are like when you wake up in the morning, you kind of stretch your arms up. This stretch.
You got a fly on you. I'm sorry.
I know, dude.
Fucking
It's wrecking me, dude. Do I
is.
get it? I'm not gonna clap, but I would have gotten it.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Laterals.
So yeah, lateral. So when you wake up in the morning, you kind of stretch your arms out and you get this lateral stretch on the sides. It's supposed to be like a waking up. It's almost like you intuitively know how to wake your body up just by stretching in this way. And so when I bring in laterals, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make an all lateral class, make this a class that's like a waker upper. All of my flows are less than 20 minutes because I thought if I go more than that, then it's gonna be like beginners and intermediate people already struggle to make the choice to do yoga. That much more of a struggle if I have to put in like over 30 minutes. And so, man, this fly's gonna wreck me the whole time.
Fuck. He likes you.
If it does land on this table, I'm gonna wreck it. Okay, cool. And so I called it quite laterally a waker upper.
Nice.
So I'm trying to be punny with this. Oh, did I get it?
He's over there.
Okay,
He flew away.
If he could experience fear, then he'll go away now.
There you go.
Yeah, so quite laterally a waker upper. Oh, he's on you now. It's 2 of them.
That's a bad thing about doing this in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, well. We'll figure it out. Okay. So I'm trying to be punny with all of this as well. And so I dropped my 8 videos, and then August 1st, I started my 30-day yoga challenge.
Oh, nice.
And so now I do I'm putting out a video every day. And you don't have to do it August 1st, right? But now you have like a 30-day set that's supposed to build on top of each other. And when I first thought of that, I was like, how am I going to come up with 30 videos, you know? And then I started thinking, like, how can I break this down, especially from a beginner to intermediate centric space? And I started thinking to myself, like, okay, what if I break it down into segments? And so I broke it down into 5 segments. The first one consists of the first 10 days, and it's called, it's from a famous line, and this is embarrassing because you're going to have to remind me what movie it is if you know. Warriors, come out and play. Was it like, it's like a 90s baseball film or something like that, where like there's a group of people that are being referred to.
I know what you're talking about now. Yes. Oh, why don't I know this movie?
Dude, right? And
Jesus.
It's like, everybody knows this movie, and like,
people dress up like that for Halloween.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So that I was like, okay, so I'm gonna commit these 10, because to make a commitment requires a warrior-like mentality to go the whole way through, is what I like to say. So I was like, ooh, what if I'm cultivating this warrior-like mentality, and as I'm doing it, I'm teaching people the various warrior poses, like Warrior 1, Warrior 2, Reverse Warrior, and Warrior 3, which I would say is the most difficult. But I was like, okay, now the first 10 days, I'm teaching you one pose at a time, working our way up to learning standing poses. Then I thought, ooh, well, I haven't taught anybody any balance poses yet, nor have I put that in my flows, but I do have breakdown videos on them. So I was like, what if the next 5 days, so days 11 through 15, I call it bringing balance to the force. Nice. in which we just do some like balance poses. So now I've given you a foundation of the standing poses. I've given you a secondary foundation in balance poses. Now we've got a good amount that we're working with. The third set I'm calling the fundamentals.
Nice.
And so now I'm going to start bringing those things together in a shorter way to start giving you a really good base to play from. After that, the next 5 days, I'm calling like a block party, in which I kind of start mixing things up in the way that I normally do in my classes. I tend to be like a fundamental movement, intuitive type of guy. And so I try to link poses together that have you move in such a way that like you can feel a little bit more like youthful, more active. So that's kind of like my unique style. And then I thought, okay, well, what's all of this ending at? Where are we going? And I was like, what if, because Disko Wizard Yogi is a couple of things, but for a lot of my life, ever since I got the name Ozzie, people have been like, you're the Wizard of Oz. And so Wizard has always kind of followed me for a majority of my life. But disco really was more recent, just from my concert going, my dancing, and all that good stuff. And so combining the two was really dope. And I was like, oh, so this is all heading towards the Emerald City. And what if at the very end, just like Oz gives courage and a brain and a heart, I could acknowledge those three things in three separate classes, because it took courage to do this 30-day challenge. And so what poses can I put together to promote a sense of courage for you even embarking on this journey with me?
Nice.
And what if I give you a class that requires some intellect to be able to move in the way that I need you to? That's going to be me acknowledging that you had the intelligence or the brain all along to be able to follow. And the next one is your heart. And that you had a heart all along, in the sense of like the act of giving yourself movement and intuitively moving and breathing is an act of self-love. So, bam. So we're all heading towards the Emerald City on this 30-day yoga challenge.
Damn, that's this month?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that's awesome.
Yeah. So those videos will be up there. I have it under a playlist called Wizard Flows, and the 30-day challenge. And
that's fucking sweet.
Dude, it's been so dope. Yeah.
I mean, somebody who's never done yoga could start day one, and by the end, they're like, they got heart.
Yes.
To do more.
Exactly. Oh my God, I'm going to use that line for the heart class. 1,000%, I'm going to use that line for the heart.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so when I like finally listed everything, I was like, oh, dude, that's so perfect. And so like promoting every day has been such a difficult thing.
I was going to ask you about that. Is that hard?
Yeah. I mean, the amount of time that I do for like the Instagram story posts, like, I mean, I have to put maybe 30, 35 minutes to the side, just because I want it to look cool. And I actually have a lot of fun with it, because if it's based off of whatever I name the flow or the pose, I'll go into my All the Music playlist, and my All the Music playlist has over 470 hours worth of music.
Oh shit.
And I never, it gives me the opportunity to go in there, type a word in, and then I get to look at all those songs. And so anytime I have a song attached to my story or any post, that's coming straight from my playlist, and it's related to whatever's in the picture.
Oh, fuck.
So there's a lot of aspects of me that I'm sharing and all of that. And I have fun doing it. It's just like, it takes time. And having to separate myself from like subscriber count or who's liking it, and like trying my best not to care about it, is so hard too, dude. It's so hard.
You're telling me, brother.
And I know you understand too, because it's like, and I could relate this to the live music scene, but also just like friends supporting. Like, how many people I know that will support, that want to support, but you literally have to give them a direct link or be there to be like, take out your phone and type it in right now, right? And it's so funny because they want to support you, but for some reason those extra steps ain't it. And they ain't it. Man. And like I've seen in the live music scene where like people are like, who is this band? And they never get up and go ask, what's your name? And they never get up and be like, oh my God, what's that song title? Where do I find you on Spotify or Instagram? Like sometimes I feel like I'm embarrassing myself at the live music scene where I'll straight up get up and be like, follow these people on Spotify. Their name is this. And like the band's like, yeah. And the whole time I'm just yelling, you know?
Don't worry, guys. I got you tonight. We'll make sure they follow you.
Yeah, dude. It's just, it's weird because again, like it's not just strangers, which have a bigger barrier for doing those things. Even your homies are struggling to make those button presses. So it's just funny to me. And I've been like, I'm on it. Like
you like clearly love yoga and you have a deep understanding of it. So now that you're, I guess, kind of, I want to say monetizing it.
Yeah, trying.
Is it taking away your love for it?
Man,
or you're just beginning, so it's really exciting.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
really exciting, but like, dude, sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 days just to gather up the confidence to get in front of this camera.
Really?
Like, it's so...
Even though you do that a lot.
Yeah.
Just to get in front of it.
Because it's like, am I embarrassing myself? Am I putting out anything that's worthwhile? And then I have to just like revisit what the purpose is. The idea is like I want to share these things because they're meaningful to me. I think that intentional movement with intentional breath provides longevity, and I want longevity for people. I want people to move and feel good in their bodies for as long as possible because I want that for myself too. So
hell, Joe Rogan says do yoga.
yeah, dude.
You gotta
The
stretching,
man says it.
stretching, and all that shit. You're not like breathing.
Mm-hmm. And the only thing that like changes, I think, when people hear stretching and breathing, they're like, cool. People hear yoga, it's like, oh, you're gonna try to throw me something spiritual, and
It gets spiritual, right?
yeah. And honestly, I think the combination of moving intentionally and breathing intentionally eventually creates like a spiritual space because you're learning about your body and you're learning about your own breathing patterns.
I've heard that you can reach a spiritual level, like a different plane of consciousness from breathing alone.
They do that in like
Is that called I don't know.
like breathing intensive workshops will do that, but they'll also like oh my god, like Kundalini is the most like famous version of like, if you go to a Kundalini class, you better be open-minded because
I don't even know what that is.
oh my god, it's like that's the style. I mean, loosely based in yoga, but more so in the sense of like a higher focus on the breathing and the movement part. But like the type of movement that you're doing it's weird. I mean, if you go into a yoga class like and you don't know what these poses are, I'm sure that looks weird. But that times 10, you're in a Kundalini class.
How do you feel about like yoga with baby billy goats and puppies and shit
I
like that?
honestly think
What's your honest take on those? If somebody did that here, low-key, I might do it.
no.
Like
I mean, what I do,
puppies.
I'm up for anything that opens people up to a new experience. Dude, I think that's just bastardizing the practice, honestly. But
Fair enough.
But no, anybody that opens, like, the modern approach to this is I don't feel like I have to stay super attached to the most traditional forms of this style to like be honest to it. I think if you spoke with instructors in the past, their primary thing would be to just have that practice open to everybody.
There we go.
So whatever it takes to get there, go for it. Personally, I just think that's so silly. Like,
so you wouldn't teach that class, nor would you go to that class?
I would potentially go because I'm all up about experiences. I love experience. I have not. Dude, but I've
seen videos. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen videos too. It's just kind of funny to me when like a goat's on top of your back and you're like in a because you're not doing any poses anymore. You're just like playing with animals.
Yeah, I went to a yoga class at Crunch Fitness one time, a couple years ago, and it was so hard. And then I was thinking about the goats being there. I'm like, I couldn't be able to enjoy either. Like,
I have my doubts that anybody's actually practicing. I think it's just playing with animals.
Yeah, you just be playing.
Yeah, you're just playing. I'm so glad you asked me that too, because I just think that I think it's so funny that's a popular thing, and there's probably some association with like the animal in like a spiritual way.
You might get something out of it.
Maybe. So yeah, no, I'm open to whatever. I'd go experience it.
When you're really deep in that, like do you have beginner and intermediate? Would you consider yourself above those? What is the step above that?
Advanced.
Okay, is that a master? I don't know.
Nah,
Yogi?
yeah.
I don't know.
I would say anybody that calls themselves a master immediately tells you now that they're not, because the student must always remain the student.
Yeah.
But I think I struggle with those words because I think you could aspire to something, but most people that will look at an advanced practice and be like, that's the practice itself. So like if you see like a
So there's no like black belt for yoga?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Nah. And there's like if there's an Instagram picture of someone doing like a standing split and their legs are straight up like a line, you could do a standing split. And I mean, even in my breakdown video, like my standing split isn't that high, but like that doesn't make it not a standing split, Mm-hmm. So like, but some people will see that like straight up perfect leg line that someone has and be like, that's a standing split. They wouldn't see someone who's like barely lifting their leg up but feeling the same stretch. and wouldn't call that a standing split. So that's like my only quarrel with saying like advanced, because people just think like that's yoga whenever everything in the middle of it all.
Even playing with the billy goats is yoga.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and say that.
No, but when you're in those really deep moments, do you reach a spiritual level? Do you reach like, I don't know. Yeah, do you?
There's a couple of times where I could find myself in a euphoric space.
There we go, that word.
But in what I would say like provides that a lot. I mean, some people, like when you work out, you get this big old movement and you're like sweating a whole bunch. You get that like post dopamine like effect of like, you know, I accomplished something. You moved your body. You got blood going all over the place. It just feels really good. I think for me, especially someone who's just thinking 1,000 miles per hour all the time, to get at least 5 seconds of silence in my head will literally make me cry sometimes. Damn. Because it's so freeing to just be quiet, you know. And originally, because there's 8 limbs that make up yoga, at least from the philosophical space, and the limb that is the most popular is the asana space, which asanas is the Sanskrit word for poses. And asanas, the original purpose to put a lot of these movements together was to move so much that you have nothing else to think about but your body and mind, and to narrow down all of your thoughts to just 1 or 2 things. That in itself could be freeing. So that's like another main focus, which is why, like, you know, professional players can reach this, like what I would consider to be the same as the 8th limb is called samadhi, and samadhi is like unity, like full connection to all that is. And you get to samadhi through the combination of the 7 limbs prior. But I think samadhi is the same as being in the zone. So like if you see a professional basketball player, for example, and they're in the zone, they are thinking of nothing other than their instincts and what's going on in front of them, you know? And to be in that space where there's nothing else in the world that's bothering you, or like even if you make a mistake, it doesn't even register as a mistake in your mind. You quickly move on to the next moment, which is like a spiritual practice in and of itself.
Damn.
That being in the zone has all these different names and like I guess names and brands of it. I would say that's the same as samadhi. That's like the zone of proximal development. Everybody has that, like the runner's high. Everybody has that version of like what it means to be fully connected. So
nice.
Yeah, I would say I get that a couple of times, but to escape your mind like that, I mean,
when's the last time you did this podcast?
Man,
was it last year?
It had to be February, because I was about to do What is Unconditional Love for the first time.
This year? February?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did I tell you about my experience at Palador Canyon?
Oh, wait, maybe. Tell me.
Speaking of connecting and silence. So we were me and my buddy do the Comanche Trail at Palador, which is a fucking bitch. But there's this place we call the Fortress of Solitude, and we were there. The first time we went, we just sat there and we were taking a break. He was doing some illegal activities, and I was drinking a beer. and
oh yeah,
it fucking just hit us. It was literally like, it was the most silence I've ever heard in my, like it was so loud. Like the silence, I know it sounds weird, but.
Oh no, I love that.
And even in my brain, because I'm with you, it goes just constantly, words, thoughts. I could feel myself fighting to think.
Nice.
And
oh my God,
like,
that's such a sweet spot.
I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I didn't think, and it was like, I had a shared experience with him, and it ended, and he was like, dude, I'm so glad you didn't speak. And I was like, I was trying to, but I couldn't even fucking talk.
Dude.
And it was like, to me and him, it was, we heard God, you know, we said it was the Holy Spirit. But you can call it whatever you want. And I was like, oh shit, we connected to something different there.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that I would connect to that too, because it's like, there are different brainwave states like delta and alpha brainwave states. And there's a particular space that, oh my God, I'm forgetting what the exact frequency associated with this brain state is, but it's coincidental maybe, coincidental that brainwave state and the frequency associated with it, you can get to through like dreaming as well.
Oh, nice.
But also it's the frequency of the earth. So like, yeah. And so that like when you can match that space, there's also that like meditative spiritual space. And I know that the frequency associated with the earth is called Schumann's resonance. And Schumann's resonance, again, like that's the coincidence here, that same frequency is the frequency that you get to in your brainwave state. That's
what he said. He said God was talking to us. I was like, oh shit. It was a fucking spiritual experience, I tell you.
I'm going to call back to that when we start the poetry book conversation because that's literally the perfect way to start off that space.
It was crazy.
Yeah. And again, you'll get that, like, the last pose in a yoga class is Shavasana or corpse pose where you just lay down. And it's always a joke that's like everyone's favorite because you don't get to do anything. You just kind of lay down. And you'll see how difficult it is for people to like be still.
You say this when I did that one at Crunch, when we were laying down, I was like fighting to not think.
Yeah, dude.
It was weird.
Because if you're asking to just lay there, like there's so many things that are like that can get in the way. Like you're surrounded by strangers. How did I feel about what I just did? When is it going to end? Are we close to getting up now? Yeah. Am I going to have to say namaste at the end of this class? Like there's this whole set of things. But it's the beginning practice of learning to be still.
I'm glad you said that too. Like, even if it's just 5 seconds.
Dude, oh my God, it's liberating.
That's crazy. I never really thought to think about it like that.
Yeah, to just get 5 to 10 seconds of stillness in my mind.
Me, it was like, damn, I only got 5 seconds. But maybe I should just be like, oh, that's sweet. I got 5 seconds.
Yeah, imagine what 7 feels like. Or imagine what 15 feels like. So extending that space. I mean, some of the biggest meditation practitioners will say like they have, in order to get to that space truly, I mean, I think they just put a way like higher bar on that, but like they'll be in meditation for 2 hours because they feel their mind's going to trick them for the first hour 30, and so they don't even believe they're in that state until they're like fully challenge themselves into that.
Oh, I got you.
And no way. There was one time so the first 2 limbs of the 8 limbs of yoga are the ethical practices, and the ethical practices are called the yamas and the niyamas. And I have a book on it. I feel so bad that I forgot the author's name, but at the end of each one of these, like yamas and niyamas, which involve like discipline and non-stealing and surrender and contentment, at the end of each one of those, they would have like a 4-week practice that you would journal about. And in one of the practices, I think that was associated with surrender or discipline, I'm forgetting which one, I was asked to eat an orange for 1 hour. And so I'm like getting philosophical with this orange. I'm like, how many people passed this orange? Who was the person that got this orange from whatever facility, put it in the truck, drove all the way to like Walmart, left it there, and so I'm getting like, and now I'm starting to peel it, right? And I'm just like, I better take my time with this peeling because this is going to be some like, that's as close as it gets to entertainment, right? And now it was just funny to spend 1 hour.
It was you and that orange for an hour.
1 hour straight.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't need to do any more of that. But
that's some extreme shit.
It was a fun practice. Because now I was like 45 minutes in and I'm on my like last bite of an orange. And I'm like, it's just me and you, buddy.
What the fuck does that teach you? What is it supposed to do?
I think that would be like patience.
Yeah.
Oh
shit.
And now that you're being challenged to like, I mean, because if I would have eaten that orange in the first 5 minutes, what am I doing for the next 55? And so,
damn.
And so it was like, it was natural to get philosophical with the orange just to try to like fill up the hour. So I think that's the challenge as well. Like, how can you entertain yourself or how can you be okay with just this one activity for 1 hour?
Here I am making excuses like, who's got a time for to do that for an hour?
Yeah.
But there I am flipping on my phone for a fucking hour. So,
yeah, no, dude.
Yeah.
I
guess that's what it's all about, is challenging yourself, huh?
For sure. Little by little.
In any manner.
Yeah, and that's why, like, even when I was talking about the standing split thing, this, if you imagine yourself kind of folding and you're lifting one leg behind you, like this, you're still stretching. This is a standing split. Is it a full standing split? No, but it's a standing split no matter what. And that challenge right there, like all the challenges involved with that is like you knowing that you are in a practice. That it may start off right here. You're barely lifting your foot off of the ground a foot or two, but it isn't always going to be there if you continue to practice.
So you're standing straight up and trying to lift this leg?
Yeah, so the idea is like, I'm standing on both feet. I'm on both feet. My upper body is folded over.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm trying to lift a leg behind me, just one leg.
I don't even know how far I could go.
Yeah.
And some people can go all the way.
Full line, straight line. Yeah. And I mean, it makes for a gorgeous picture,
Yeah,
right?
it's like seemingly, yeah.
But that's not the full way of a standing split. And sometimes some people's like just physiology or like anatomy, just some people are just gifted to be extra flexible
Hell yeah.
in certain
I
spaces.
used to date a girl like that.
They're just like, it just happens to be that way, you know?
Damn.
And you could work your way up to a full split, right? Like that's not anything like genetic, but some people have an easier time getting to that than others, you know?
Are women more flexible? Naturally?
I feel like, well, in certain spaces, like
The hips?
I would say some like hips for sure. Hamstrings tend to be the case, but it's hard because like our practices or like sports and stuff like that, like if you're a cheerleader and you're a girl, you're probably doing more stretches than a guy playing basketball, right? You're just running, lifting weights, trying to get stronger. Now they're incorporating more stretching, but like I think the activities that girls do in this space provide more of like the stretching.
Gotcha.
And dudes
So
just
he's practicing more.
dudes are just trying to get strong. You know, that's usually how it
I think
goes.
LeBron spends like an hour stretching a day.
Dude, and that has to, I mean, combined with all the other things that he does.
That's why he's like 45 playing with 20-year-olds.
Wild, dude.
What a
Wild.
dude.
Yeah.
I want to hate him so much, but what a dude.
Side note, there was a, was it Shumpert? One of his ex teammates came on his podcast and said straight up, this dude's using steroids. And I was like, oh.
I say let him.
Yeah. I'm like, if it's, you know, in some of these like PEDs and stuff like that, I don't even know why. Like, why not? You know, if that promotes longevity and.
Is there PEDs in the yoga space?
Nah, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so.
Do people who typically really take yoga serious, it's like a lifestyle?
Yeah, I think it's, especially if they're finding that space where they could get silent with themselves for a little bit. Like it's like that will.
So I mean, that takes like not just yoga. I mean, I'm saying like the things you eat.
Yeah.
The things you consume on your phone.
Yeah. I think you start to become aware of those
drugs,
things.
alcohol, all that shit.
Yeah. Because I also call yoga like the practice that you get to know your body and you get to know your mind. You get to know yourself.
Which is scary.
Yeah. Oh, for
It's
sure.
scary.
That's a big old thing. And like most people, I think that's where it starts to get real spiritual. The beginning parts is just like, let me work on my flexibility. And
I got you.
And I think everybody also like, especially with breathing, and the more and more people like know about, like even if you ever were around people in cross country in high school, you know, they're trying to teach you to regulate your breath so you can stay for longer distances. So I think people already naturally connect like, ooh, breathing does something for us. So I think breathing will help with the mental space, and you'll get to know yourself in that mental space. And then stretching, I think, will also not only be physical, because you could immediately feel like, oh shit, my hamstring's tight.
Yeah.
Right. But it'll also be like, how am I embracing this mentally to be in this stretch? So those are the two things that I focus on when it comes down to the YouTube yoga channel, because I think those are the biggest beginner intermediate things. So yeah. And then I guess one more thing on this all, like, and calling myself the Disko Wizard. The disco part, I felt compelled to like learn about disco balls. So I thought this would be a fun little trivia question. Do you try to guess the years, you could range it however you want to range it, in which the disco ball was first thought of and talked about, and when the disco ball was patented?
When it was first thought of?
Yeah. Or at least like attributed to people that were like speaking out loud about it.
I want to say 1800s.
Oh, okay. Do you want to get you want to narrow it down a little bit?
I just want to guess about the 1800s.
Okay.
Once electricity maybe started coming into play.
Okay, now patented.
Not till like the 70s, 50s-ish, 1950s, 1960s.
Hey, you were actually a lot closer than some people.
Hell yeah.
There were a lot of people that were like, oh man, caveman times.
I wanted to think like medieval people were using it.
Yeah, people like a lot of people want to go there. But there's two things. So the disco ball is connected to like a single man, but there's a lot of arguments. Well, it's the guy that patented it, but there's a lot of arguments that it belongs to literally nobody. And the reason why is because when it was first talked about and at least written down, it was the mid 1890s.
Nice.
And it was some union workers that were talking about throwing a party, and they were thinking about like, ooh, what if we put some mirrors around a spherical object? And then about 25 years later in 1915, I know his last name is Wost, and and I'm forgetting his first name, but he patented the disco ball, and it was originally called the Myriad Reflector. And it wasn't until the 1950s, 1960s of the discotheques, especially in the Europe scene, because it hit harder in the Europe scene for a bit, that they started getting called disco balls.
Nice.
So yeah, disco balls, and by name, have been around for about 50, 60 years.
The official name.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Myriad Reflector was
That's pretty
the
cool.
original name, which I thought was so dope. I think that's so dope. And it also makes me want to use the word myriad a lot more. There's like a myriad of items here.
Naming something that would be cool.
Right?
Like a guitar or
Yeah.
a car or something.
Dude, album name?
Album. There you go.
Myriad Reflector? Dude.
Band name?
Band name? Yeah.
I gotta bleep that because that's a good one.
That's a good one for sure.
Oh shit! Don't underestimate a disco ball, people. Man, those things rule.
And I'm like, what else? Especially when it comes down to this YouTube channel, I was like, dude, nobody's got a moniker in this space. Like everyone's like yoga with Adrienne, which is super cool. Yoga with blah, yoga with this. I'm like the only one that has a moniker that's like the Disko Wizard Yogi, and I have a gimmick. I got a disco ball with me all the time.
That's actually really surprising. I'm surprised nobody's done more of that.
Right? So like nobody's putting in like the bank of poses that they're pulling their sequences from, putting it inside the description box for you to be able to go check out the breakdown poses. Nobody is putting in the effort of like trying to be clever and punny with the names, like having something to like associate themselves with, like me and the disco ball, which I just think is so dope. And yeah. And some part of me feels like even as a yogi, sometimes I have to address like that I vape. and I just find that funny because I come in and out of it. Sometimes I get really stressed and
You vape?
yeah.
You have to address that?
Sometimes I feel like some people are just like, oh my God, how can a yogi do this? Does this affect your breath? And blah, 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 blah. And for me, it's like, I wouldn't promote it. I actually come on and off of like quitting.
That's bad for you.
I know it is.
That
it
one
is,
in particular.
for sure. And I'm seeing more and more things come out of it.
Yeah.
And I think there's something more about like the act of smoking something that I think I've just always done.
Did you hear Hunter Biden talk about smoking crack?
No. Oh my God. What did he
And the way he makes it sound. Because you got to go watch the video. I don't want to get into that because I'm not going to promote crack. But it's like a tradition. You create a tradition. He explained it beautifully, but unfortunately he's talking about smoking crack.
Yeah.
But this,
that motion,
it's something in our brain, deep in our brain that we love.
It's ritualistic
Also
in some
igniting,
way.
but you're not smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. Oh, he said igniting too.
Igniting, like we love to ignite things. And
That's got to be a fire association
Yeah,
too,
it is.
for sure.
Zoroastrianism, you ever get into that?
What is that?
As the first religion.
Ooh.
They were a bunch of fire worshippers. I can't believe you don't know
So like
that.
the sun?
I'm teaching you, fire, just
fire generally.
like they created fire and they
Cool.
thought it was God.
Dude, I could see why at the beginning. I mean, like
I can't
cooking,
believe you didn't know that.
change. What did you call it again?
Zoroastrianism? Zoroastrianism? I don't know exactly how to say it, but that's the
I'll look it
world's
up.
oldest religion.
That's cool. I've always been
Yeah.
curious about like the oldest one. I have books on like the 5 major ones, like Hinduism. I think Hinduism is the oldest. Buddhism goes after. Protestantism, so like Christianity, Catholicism, and I think Islam is the newest.
That's a lot older, younger.
Yeah. So
The Hindus, did they create yoga?
that
region?
They have a lot of practice. Yeah. I would say that's where it started. Yeah. So
That's crazy.
yeah, that's great because now we're talking about 2,400 years ago.
But it's kind of like what you said, just making sure you're only thinking about
Yeah.
you and whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
narrowing down your thoughts
there
as
we
much
go.
as possible to get to that silent space.
Oh,
So, yeah, moving your body. I mean, I guess I'll just finish it by saying the 8 limbs just to throw out some knowledge. But yeah, the yamas and niyamas are the ethical practices. That's where you start off. Asanas are the poses themselves. Pranayama is breath, so breath control. Pratyahara is sensory deprivation. So sometimes, like if you're balancing and you close your eyes and you take away your sight, how much more difficult does balancing become? And so you kind of play around with sensory withdrawal in that space, or even the times in which you're asked to hold your breath and see how that feels and stuff like that. But so that's Pratyahara. Dharana is meditation or it's focus. No, it's focus. And then dhyana is meditation. And then the last limb is samadhi, where the combination of the 7 limbs, which is, again, the ethical practices, the poses themselves, breath control, sensory withdrawal, focus, and meditation all come together to create this connection, samadhi. So cool stuff. Well, can always talk about the 8 limbs. That's always fun. But yeah, some mixture of those or even a few of those limbs, I feel like in other practices can get you to samadhi, which is, again, that zone of proximal development.
For sure.
So
it's crazy. I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. And again, like 2,000 plus years, isn't that wild? Like,
it's nuts.
Dude.
And figure something out.
Yeah.
And this is all, you can all learn this on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, Disko Wizard Yogi, baby.
And you're writing a book?
Yeah.
That's another thing you're doing?
Yeah. So the book, I'm when the idea first came in, which is about, what is unconditional love, came out in March. I was like, man, I feel really good about this. And, a lot of the subsequent poems that I wrote as well, I was like, man, something's coming out of me here and I'm really, really enjoying it. And I was like, okay, what if I go for this book? And so I've been working on this for a couple of months, and my original goal was like, let's get it out in August. The YouTube channel is taking up a good amount of time, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start off with that. I'm pretty close to finishing the rough draft. My goal will be late September or October. I'll have the book released, and the book is called The 8 Soul Gates, and it's going to feature 8 poems, one of which will be What is Unconditional
Nice.
Love. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I'm an unconventional person. All right, I didn't go to school for writing, though I consider myself to be a good writer. I am not the biggest fan of like the conventional poetry book standard of like poem after poem after poem after poem after poem, which is cool. It's whatever. But I'm not a conventional poet, so how do I change it up for my book? And so I started thinking about, what do I want my brand to be as the Disko Wizard? And I was like, okay, I want to be unconventional. I want that recognition of being unconventional. I want to recognize how communal of a person I am, like the friends that I have, the things that I love to do. All of those things inspire me. So in what ways can I add a communal part to this book? Transparency. I've always considered myself to be someone who is more transparent than the next person, but I'm also able to speak these ideas and the thoughts that I have in a digestible way. I consider that to be one of my talents. So I was like, okay, I want to continue being transparent and vulnerable. And so I was like, okay, authenticity. I want to be authentic, and I consider the Disko Wizard to be like my higher self in this really funny way. And so what is the most authentic expression of Ozzie / the Disko Wizard? And so came up with the 8 Soul Gates, and it's going to feature 8 poems that were all inspired from this like 2024, late 2023 experience, a little bit into 2025. I have it in like kind of chronological order of when things happened. And the way the book is going to be formatted is, before you even get to the first poem, there's going to be an inspiration or a bio on why I wrote that poem. So it's going to be a little bit of a background of what inspired me to write this poem. That's going to be the vulnerable part. Nice. Of the book. Afterwards, there's the page that you flip, so that right side page, I want there to be a gate there. And that gate kind of has that form of like a rectangle on the bottom and maybe like a semicircle on the top. So what I did for the communal part of this book is that I assigned a poem to a friend / artist, and whoever I thought was like felt connected to the poem. And then I want them to draw me a gate / portal that will correlate to the poem. So the idea is, when you flip that page, you're moving through the gate / portal into the poetry space. Right. So now you have a multitude of ways in which you can engage with the book. You could immediately go to the poem and read it. You can look at the picture that is the gate that was drawn for that poem, and then try to figure out what the poem is going to be about, then go read it. You could read my inspiration behind the poem and then go read it. There'll also be some Spotify codes in which you'll be able to have me read it for you.
Oh,
so I recorded those as well.
Hell yeah.
Again, through HG Productions. Harvey, you're the best. Love you.
Yeah.
And so now you have this like multimedia way of engaging with the book and my poetry.
That's awesome.
With the eventual goal of like seeing me perform it live. So I almost, some part of me wanted to go through a good amount of this book, but I know I already did What is Unconditional Love, so I'll use that to like promote people to go check out the last podcast.
Yes, please.
Because that was the background on What is Unconditional Love.
There's a whole clip of you doing it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it was just so fun. It's so sick. And that's been one of my favorites because, you know, that like hand motion that I gave with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where I was like, you guys asked me what is unconditional love? When I get to perform it live, it's so dope with an engaging audience because I have like 50, 70 people asking me what is unconditional love.
Hell yeah.
You know, and it's like, I'll tell you what it is, you know. But a couple of the ones that I would like to feature, one for sure is going to be Soul Tide. Soul Tide is going to be my next official video for a poem. I'll be releasing that when I start moving towards promoting the book. That'll probably be in September. Soul Tide, I feel so dope about, like as good as What is Unconditional Love, or if not a little bit more. But I'll do the first poem in the book, which is called I Listened, and that's going to be, I would want to talk a little bit about that moment that you had at Paladero, because I had a very similar moment, and that moment was what inspired this poem, I Listened. And it's my shortest poem. It's like 4 lines. I'm definitely going to do Soul Tide. And then I think I will do Commitment to Jealousy because that one's got a little bit of like a rap feel. And I think that one's pretty cool. So in order in the book, before I start this whole thing, it's going to go I Listened. And it'll go The Cursive Letter K, which I have a video on that's like not the greatest audio, but that's when the first time I ever recorded something and did like hand motions with it. That was dropped in October of last year. Followed by Commitment to Jealousy, followed by What is Unconditional Love. Afterwards will be a poem called Place and Time. Afterwards will be, this is like my secret nugget. Like I so badly want to perform this one, this next one, but you know how some people, especially when they release an album, it's like you get your singles, but there's that nugget that's in there.
Yeah,
you know, like you only find it when you listen to the album.
I got you.
So this poem is called When You Meet in a Forest. And When You Meet in a Forest is like I imagine one day that it's going to be animated in the cutest fucking way by somebody.
Hell yeah.
Because it's all about, it's about a friendship that I made over at Electric Forest, this festival that my friends took me to. And, it's about a wizard and a flying squirrel meeting.
I think you talked about that.
Yeah. So
in the last pod, yeah.
I might have mentioned it. Yeah. So When You Meet in the Forest will be like my nugget. Like, go get the book, go check that out. Afterwards, The Raver's Prayer. The Raver's Prayer is actually a collection of toasts that I had gathered over the years, and I just kind of put them together to make one big toast and turn it into like a prayer.
Hell yeah.
And I wanted to give back to the rave scene because that's been such a beautiful space for me to come back to. And then the book ends with Soul Tide, which is going to be like, that's my next big single. That's how I think of it. So with I Listened, so I didn't start camping until I was like 27, 28 years old. And, you know, it's only me and my parents. My parents come straight from Mexico. I don't know if there's some like association with like not too much nature experiences in like a Mexican family.
It
Maybe
doesn't seem like they like to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So my parents definitely weren't. But I've always had like a pretty strong connection with nature, and I've enjoyed exploring that in my later years. It was a little bit past COVID. I'm actually with Josh Brown at this point. And, you know, Josh is ex-Boy Scout over Salt Lake City, Utah. Like, dude,
he knows his shit.
Anyway, it's a little bit post-COVID, and we're like, you know, let's go do a nature thing. And I had never done like Carlsbad Caverns or anything like that. So I was like, ooh, let's go check that out. So we drive over there, but they're closed, COVID-related things. We try to go to the next spot to camp, they're closed, COVID-related things. And next thing you know, we're so committed. We're just driving now. And we find ourselves in the southern part of Colorado at a space called Monument Lake. And that spot was open for camping. And I was like, oh my God, thank God. So we finally set up camp, and I was woefully unprepared for like 55, 60 degrees at night. It's like, that sounds okay, but when you're just in it and you have no blankets and like, you know, I didn't have a beanie. Like I saw that and was like, oh, I can handle that, you know? No. That was one of my first learning experiences as like a camper. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even get to sleep I couldn't get to sleep that night. But, you know, I got to hang out, and, you know, when we finally got there, we walked around Monument Lake, and I set up on a really big boulder, which became my thing. Like anytime I go out into nature, if there's a rock to sit on, I'm sitting on that rock.
Hell yeah.
You know, like those rocks call to me. And I remember like I was just kind of bringing in the moments of like the adventure it took to get here, our determination, like I'm finally out in nature. And just like you said, you felt like nature or even God was speaking to you. Mm-hmm. That was that moment for me.
Nice.
And it's as if I was being asked to listen, is what it felt like. And that was the first time that I had ever written something that I thought was poetic. And it might not be the best because it's like 4 lines, but in terms of the moment and what it means to me, like I thought it'd be a great way to start the poetry book with I Listened, because it was a moment in which I was asked to pay attention. And what I'm asking people from the book when they start with I Listened is to pay attention.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do I Listened real quick.
Okay.
I listened. There was so much to feel. There was so much to take in. Nature asked me to be still. I listened. And that's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
I just like, it was so much to feel. There was so much to take in. Nature asked me to be still. I listened.
Most people need to listen. I just listen.
It's a difficult thing, and more difficult than people give it credit for. And each one of the ends of the inspirations in the bios, I'm kind of pulling from my wedding officiant stuff, where it's not a blessing. It's like kind of sort of is, but I end it with like a may you something. And so for that one, I would have to pull out my notes to give you the exact line, but it was like, may you listen intently and consciously, and do that more than you normally do. But yeah, so that's I Listened. It's gonna be funny when I first perform it, because it just happens so short, and it's hard to like cultivate a space in which it's like less than 15-20 seconds.
Yeah.
And expect it to be powerful. But I think when I do perform the book, it's that space is gonna be so extra cultivated that I think it'll land the way I want it to. The next one was commitment to jealousy. And this was one aspect of the thing that had me, that when I was so engulfed in my insecurity, which I believe jealousy like thrives in, that I started losing myself in insecure outbursts. It's so funny because you could find yourself in a space in which you're so insecure, and you know that the remedy is to not let yourself be in that space, or to do actions that will provide more confidence. But when you choose not to, it's almost as if you have a commitment to feeling that way. And it's funny because as someone who will say out loud that I struggle with commitment, it seemed to be really easy to commit to being insecure and jealous.
Hell yeah.
And so commitment to jealousy is really, it's all about me, but I think people could relate to it. So I'll do commitment to jealousy. You have a commitment to jealousy. Can't you see? Comparing yourself endlessly. Love you thought was real can't be seen. You don't know how to feel, so you can't just be. It's not about the looks, talent, car, or money. Actually, it's about your insecurity. What you're seeing is their maturity. Your lack thereof is echoed by many. You can't even hear stories about others succeeding. They're reminders of an internal bleeding. Is this your reality, or is it just thought? But that's where you get caught, because one leads to another in actuality. Thoughts come to fruition, and your reality is your tuition. Are you willing to pay for the thoughts that you have? Because you have to be aware of the ones that grab parts of your life that you don't want to give. Wait, loss is inevitable when you live. So what's the damn point then, you may ask me? There are things you don't have to lose, friend. Just break your commitment to jealousy. So,
Hell yeah. I must say, I will have to give you applause, because for you to be able to talk so intently on this podcast and thoroughly and think about the shit you say and then fucking perform these, I don't know how you do it, dude. That's crazy.
Dude, I feel
flawlessly just did these 2 poems. Wow.
Dude,
I love it.
I feels like I've always thought I was a performer. You know, I did theater for 7 years, like I've done choir. Like I know I'm a performer, and it just feels so good when I bust these out. And and they come from such a true space, you know, like for me to admit, like, it's not the looks, the talent, the car, the money. Actually, it's about your insecurity. What you're seeing is their maturity. Your lack thereof is echoed by many. You can't even hear stories about others succeeding. They're reminders of an internal bleeding. I remember being in those spaces where, like, I couldn't even be happy for my friends because their success reminded me of how low I was being, or the fact that I wasn't doing anything, you know?
Hell yeah.
So commitment to jealousy, I think, is so cool. That's one that I feel like I could get like a drum beat in the background, you know, when I perform it live one day. That's the only one that I really see some like music in the background, but I love commitment to jealousy. That
was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, and you got to be spicy with it when you're playing with that the rhyming of like an E sound, you know, because it's like it's so easy to get away with it, you know. So it's like if you don't spice it up, people can see like you're doing the easy way out by trying to rhyme with an E sound.
Gotcha.
You know, so I was like, how can I didn't want to be like, especially because I'm playing so much with jealousy and C and endlessly and blah, blah, blah. I really wanted to spice that one up, and I felt really good about that one.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And the gate that is associated with commitment to jealousy was actually done by Amber Tumbleson. She's an artist here in town, a color therapist. So the way that she goes about therapy is associating color with it. And so she created the gateway to commitment to jealousy.
Sweet.
And super cool. What's so fun about the gates is that they're all, I'll show you after the podcast, but it's like a multimedia thing. Like for I Listened, I assigned that one to my best friend, Sarah. And Sarah sent me back a picture where she stacked rocks and put one big rock on the top to create the gate form. Okay. And then she had a friend sitting in a cross-legged position in the middle of the gate out in a river. And I was like, that's the gate to I Listened, baby.
Hell
that's
yeah.
the gate to I Listened.
Love it.
So yeah, I actually got 5 or 6 of the gates of the 8 that I need. I'll be getting the rest in this next week. And so
this is an actual physical copy book.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And there'll also be an online version. So I'm doing it through a website called BookBaby. And they've been super supportive. So
that's sweet, dude.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I love it.
Yeah. So and then, you know, I get to shout out all the homies, you know, and I get to spread out their art. Like, hey, if you love this gate, go check out the person that did it. So the communal part of this whole thing is just like fire, dude.
Dude, that's awesome.
It's so fire. And then, yeah, I always got to tell people, go check out What Is Unconditional Love, because that was the poem that made me feel like, yo, I'm a poet, and I know I am, you know. Yeah. But the last one in the book is called Soul Tide, and Soul Tide, man, it's funny how like the poems can take on different meanings over time, because at first Soul Tide, and it's still always going to be about this, is like when you meet someone that you feel like you've met so many times before, like, and I think one of the biggest things that kind of contributes to that feeling is that even though you haven't known each other for so long, it feels like every subject's on the table. It's so easy to talk, and it's almost you're reminding each other like you have heard this before when you're talking. And man, that type of love is so powerful and beautiful, and God, I felt this so deep for this one person, and things didn't work out, and it's completely okay. But when I think about soul tied, it's not just like this idea of a soul mate. It's like the people in your life that you've met, and like there's no guarantee that they're going to be around forever. But when you get to know somebody, or especially a friend, and it's like, man, I wouldn't have became me without this person. So in some way, you were soul tied to this person. And so,
yeah, amen to that.
Yeah. So I like what I would like to promote, especially with the idea of soul tied, is to be grateful for the people that you've met in your life. Like, think about the infinite amount of decisions that were made by their parents, and even them, and even them
thinking about shit like that,
to get to the exact point in which your paths cross. And not only that, there's no guarantee that your paths were going to cross, and even if they did, that you were going to connect in the way that y'all did. And so soul tied is.
Yeah, it's crazy when you say that. I think of my mom and my stepdad.
Ooh, tell me why.
Because they just so happened to have been sitting next to each other at a bar, and my mom kept reaching for her phone, and when she did, she would touch his ass.
Oh my God.
And
love this.
From that came a family.
Dude.
Literally like that.
And you could think of moments like that.
Fucking crazy.
That like it happens. Like when I met Josh Brown, I don't know if you know Rich Pereira.
Mm-hmm. That crazy bastard.
Oh, dude. Rich is one of the most like, that personality is only Rich. Is only Rich. I remember I was reading a book over at Flips, and Rich comes up in like his energetic way that only Rich knows how, and goes, Ozzie. I go, what's up, Rich? He goes, man, it's good to see you. You love board games, right? And I go, yeah, Rich, I love board games. And he goes, and then Josh was sitting behind me, and Rich goes, Josh Brown. And Josh goes, hey, Rich. And he goes, Josh Brown, you like board games, right? And Josh goes, yeah, I like board games. And he goes, Josh Brown, Ozzie, Josh Brown. Bam.
Damn. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just like that.
I give it to Rich, baby.
Fuck.
It's just so funny to think about like how big of a change that was and how Rich gifted me that.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so soul tied is definitely going to be, every one of these lines are coming from moments that I just remember so distinctly, so clearly. And I think a lot of the spaces in which I'm channeling these poems from is that like I'm bringing my awareness into those beautiful moments that I'm observing and taking note of and calling back in the form of these poems. So soul tied.
Hell yeah.
I'm so excited to drop this video. This is just one of my favorites. There's gonna be a yelling part. I think I'm gonna like move to the side here. Okay. Soul tied. Old souls that have met each other before countless times, living their lives, making memories reminiscent of movies, their expressions cinematic, their chemistry like a drug irresistible to any addict. When you know, becomes a statement felt and not just heard. You realize that there's nothing that will deter you from making sure this is true. That me and you are meant to be together forever and ever. Time slows down when I see you in a crowd and we yell, I love you. You're my best friend. An unspoken agreement to be in each other's lives until the very end. There's intimacy in the mundane, where every possible frame of us is just love. It's art that we're a part of. This love gives us something to be grateful for. We thank the universe for every perceived detour because it all makes sense. And there's a reverence to the thought of a grand plan that makes you jump, click your heels and say, shoopity-bop-bop and oh hot damn. We're twin flames that create a bonfire where people feel inspired. It's a recognition of a love acquired that requires rejoice. And now we have a choice. Do we allow ourselves to believe what we've seen since the very beginning? The love described in fairy tales exists. It's within this. We know it's true. It's when we look at each other with eyes that say, I found you. There's a knowing, and our energies flowing. And to think this could have all been contrived, that we've danced our whole lives just to feel this alive. So shall we say yes and just do our best? Have faith in passing every test and being each other's better than the rest? I say yes. What do you say? Soul Tide.
Soul Tide, I love it.
And what was cool when I performed it live is that the whole crowd was like, yes.
Oh, nice.
I saw that coming. It was in my vision. I knew it, that like ending the poem with that question was gonna have people, especially if they're engaged, want to answer me yes the way I said yes.
Hell yeah.
You know, and so it ended up being this beautiful moment. But yeah, Soul Tide, now that when I perform it, it's almost like an active processing, because it's like, I remember those moments. I thought for sure I was going to get to experience them that much more, at least with this person, but you know, maybe with the next, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But
Hell
yeah. Be on the lookout. The 8 Soul Gates coming out either late September or October. A beautiful project. 8 poems. You'll get to know me that much more, like with the inspiration and the bio behind each one of the poems. You'll get access to my artist friends. If you end up loving one of their gates, I know where to point you. And I imagine this is going to be the first of several books that come out one day.
Fucking A, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it is getting hot in here.
Let's do it.
I want to just say thank you
Of course.
for coming on. Anytime you're in town, you want to come on, man.
Yeah, brother.
I wish you all the best out in Denver, man.
You too.
You're going to kill it.
I'm always going to keep an eye on you as well, man.
Oh, man, we'll be
So,
friends forever.
Forever.
We got Instagram.
Forever.
If I'm ever
never.
out there, I like going out there.
Yeah.
Come visit you.
Yeah, dude, please do. Especially like a concert at Red Rocks. If you haven't done
I've
that,
never done that one.
please, bro. Please, let's go Red Rocks.
Okay.
Like, I'll keep looking at like the list of people over like the next. You know, I think they stop listing people like around November because of winter time. But if there's an artist on that list that you want to check out, let's do it.
Fucking A, brother.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Promote the YouTube one more time, man.
Yeah. So Disko Wizard Yogi, Disco with a K, Yoga with Disko Wizard Yogi. That's going to be the YouTube yoga channel. And the 8 Soul Gates, again, coming out late September or October. You'll see it. Follow me at Disko Wizard 13 on Instagram, and you'll be able to keep up with everything. So
There you go, people.
Hell yeah.
Check it out. Thank you again, man.
Thank you for the time. Much love, friends.
We'll see you
Everybody.
guys next time, man.
Till next time.
Hell yeah.